Hey, hey, hey. Thanks again for press and play, and welcome to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. It's a post-game podcast. Yeah, it might be preseason, and it doesn't count, but that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Phoenix Suns go to Palm Desert today, take on the Los Angeles Lakers, and win the game by a final score of 118 to 114. Yes, we're 1-0 in the records that don't matter, Matthew.
It doesn't matter, but we beat the Lakers, dude. And we got the dunk at the end by Dunn just to throw it down their throats. We love it, dude.
It was
anytime
fun.
we can beat the Lakers, exhibition or not, I'll take it.
Amen.
It was great. It was a great game.
Fun. It was fun to see Suns basketball again. You know, I mean, obviously the closest thing we came to this last time was the Summer League when we got to see Ryan Dunn and we got to see Oso Ighodaro. But that's against a different level of talent and a different vision in mind. The preseason games are meant to fortify some things. As Mike Budenholzer was saying before the game, this is just an opportunity for the players to take what they've done in practice and do it against a jersey of a different color. And that jersey happened to be white tonight. It wasn't that Lakers yellow or gold, I think they call it, over, although
Lakers
it is
blue?
clearly. No,
Was it
that's the
Lakers
purple.
blue?
That's the purple.
Oh, that's the purple. Okay, got it.
Yes. So they can't get their color scheme right. But regardless, it was a fun game to watch, and there's definitely a lot of things to take away from this. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but an introduction to the 2024-2025 Phoenix Suns. So we'll talk about that and plenty more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. My name is John Voida, managing editor of Bright Side of the Sun. He's Matthew Lissy, one of our contributors at Bright Side of the Sun, and of course, my longtime co-host. We've been doing this. I think this is our fifth season. And I think it's our fourth one doing all the post-game podcasts. So, yeah, that's right. The original post-game podcast on Planet Purple. It's right here. So make sure you subscribe, rate, review, wherever you're consuming this. It helps us. It helps support the show. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube, leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you're utilizing. Again, it's a great way to support the show. So we got plenty to talk about in this game that didn't count. Let's pop them if we got them, Suns fans. And let's get into a preseason game against the Los Angeles Lakers. Head of Palm Desert play the Los Angeles Lakers on the first game of preseason. And it brings me to my first question that actually matters. All the ones we've been asking all summer, none of them matter. First one of the season.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. If you are talking right now to somebody who didn't watch this game, how would you describe what you experienced this evening?
You know, it was a full game. I think when the game first started, we're like, I don't know how long this pod's going to be, maybe 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if that. But it just continued to build. Like the Suns were down about 10 points in the first half. Okay, well, it's not going to be a game they're going to care too much about. But then the bench comes in, the young guys come in. And that's exciting. I just think that if I were to describe to somebody, hey, go watch the preseason game number 1 against the Lakers. Why? Because we have some young talent, and they actually showed us what they have. We'll go through them as we go through the players, obviously. But right now, you're excited about what you're seeing on the court. And I think it's just an exciting first game to get everything kind of get started again.
100%. I agree. It was a game that started off with the starters. Obviously, it's an introduction. It's an introduction to seeing players like Tyus Jones in a Suns jersey and Monte Morris and the rookies and all of the different elements that we've been talking about all summer, finally seeing it play out on the court. And, truthfully, if you're going to go starters versus starters, it wasn't the greatest start to a game, if you will. I mean, the Suns trailed 69-57 at halftime. That's their starters versus ours. And you were wondering, at least I was as I was watching. I'm like, defensively, are we going to have challenges with this team? We've talked so much this offseason about the importance of offense and shooting the 3 ball and having connectivity and having Tyus Jones running point.
Yeah.
But you do get lost in some of the defensive challenges that this team is going to face. Now, obviously, no Yusuf Nurkic tonight, out with a middle finger injury. So you obviously don't have a full understanding of what this team is going to be. But, throughout a regular season, somebody's always going to be injured at some time. So what is our defensive identity going to be? Now, that being said, it is a preseason game. I'm not trying to answer these deep-rooted questions based on the performances of one game. What this was again an opportunity to finally see some of the rookies in action, to finally see what they look like underneath the schemes of Mike Budenholzer. And I like what I saw tonight. I like the amount of 3-point shots that were happening. I like the pace that this team was playing with. I wasn't necessarily a fan of Tyus Jones not bringing the ball up a lot in the first half, but he started to do it a little bit in the second half, and you were starting to see some of that pushing of pace with Tyus running the point. But overall, this was just – and, of course, when you beat the Lakers, it's always a good day. But overall, I feel like this was just a good, solid introductory game for the Phoenix Suns with this team, with this system under Coach Budenholzer, who we didn't see we didn't see him a lot, right? They're showing JJ Redick all the time. We weren't seeing any of
they showed, yeah. And honestly, if I'm the camera guy, I'm going JJ's way. The more handsome fella, guy that we were calling a prick, basically. Because just look at the way he looks on the court, on the floor, on the bench with his team. He just looks like a prick. Then you have Coach Blood over there, who looks like he's asking for money and stuff. So I don't, I would probably just go more towards JJ Redick. But I think it's just great that we kind of got to see JJ Redick pull the trigger so early on Bronny James. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but just the fact that that's kind of a thing on the other side of the ball, and it's kind of fun for the Suns because he was like a minus 16 tonight. So having that help us get back into the game. So I don't know if it was really the Suns or Bronny James just being on the court defensively.
Yeah, it's it's something we're doing the playback. So for those of you who've ever visited playback.tv, there's times when Matthew and I will host a playback.tv for Bright Side of the Sun, and we just sit around and shoot the shit and talk about the game. And one of the things we were talking about is like, man, JJ Redick's got that, like, he looks like a fucking asshole. Look in his eyes.
He is,
like,
right?
Like Jackson Hayes fucked up on a play and he's just yelling at him and I was like, damn, dude. And then you got Mike Budenholzer, eyes glossed over a little bit, looked like he had a couple shots of whiskey. Kind of looks like Mortimer at the back end of Trading Places, one of the guys that Eddie Murphy gives the money to. And I just, it's such a different vibe. And then we were talking obviously about Frank Vogel and how he just always had the confused look on his face. Like he was just like, oh my God, what happened? Where am I?
What is going on? No one's listening to me. JJ Redick actually looks like a guy too that slams a lot of doors. Someone that might not really listen to you and be and then walk the other way, just slam the door behind them. I just
doesn't realize he's doing it. Like he slams cupboards.
Yeah, he slams. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm working on my anger issues, but
therapy.
It's time.
I'm trying to work through this. And he's very, because I don't know if you've seen any of the press conferences that he's had with media members, and somebody will ask him, like, so what do you think the next step for, I don't know, Jackson Hayes is? He's like, what do you think the next step is? It's like, well, coach, he's like, well, you're creating the narrative. I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, I would hate to have to cover the Lakers, dude. JJ's just going to jump down your throat. Whereas, again, Bud's got that kind of just like, hey, what's up? So,
yep.
But again, a lot to cover, a lot of different players and narratives to kind of cover. But a shout out to everyone in the chat. It's great to see some of these names again. I see John Trans in here and Creepy Crawley and Sir Hamo and Kiko. It's good to see you back. Bob Christie's in there. Scott Murphy. And, of course, Suns Fever 83. A lot of our old buddies are here. So it's great to start the season off and start to see some of our old friends.
Yeah.
And, people we were left all season long with, even during shitty times.
Yeah, and it's good to be back and people thinking like hi already. Like, so that's great. Lissy looking fried, Creepy Crawley. Thank you. We're back in action.
Well, what player do you want to start with? Do you want to start with any of the starters? Do you want to jump right into some of the good stuff?
What intrigues me is Oso. Can we just start with the best?
I don't have an Oso drop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
I
was going to ask you during the playback, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw one, but We can start. I mean, is it okay if we just start with them, or should we like make something up like Oso Ighodaro?
Oso
Should be something like that.
Ighodaro, king of the wild. Oso. There you go. There's the Oso drop. All right. Well, let's talk about Oso Ighodaro tonight. Did he end up playing the most minutes for the Suns? He did. 26 minutes, almost 27 minutes played. He was 6 of 8 from the field, 12 total points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and a +5 overall, 3 turnovers as well for Oso Ighodaro. But yeah, most minutes played by anyone. Oso, let's talk about him.
Well, absolutely loved him. I think a little bit in the beginning, he seemed a little bit razzle dazzled out there, but he came back and he was setting guys up. He was always in the right spots. He was doing a lot of things I didn't know of, right? I mean, Oso, Ryan Dunn, even Damion Lee coming back. These are guys that you're not really familiar with on the Suns, in the Suns uniform, obviously. So you're kind of just like, what are we going to see? With Oso, it was a lot of everything. I mean, he was always in the right spots, leading guys to the basket, great assists. I think he had 12 points, 5 assists with like 2 minutes left in the game. A great stat sheet look if you're just a young guy in your first game against a Lakers team that didn't really play any of the starters in the second half. They actually didn't play any. It was just all bench, but just shows our depth. And I think he's a guy that kind of really blended well with the first unit and the second unit, even though his first stint with the first unit was a little sketchy a little bit. But you can kind of see him kind of playing the 5 if Nurk is out, if Plumlee's out. I love that Oso could just bring some versatility, setting guys up, getting to the rim. The push shot went in once. So he just did a lot out there, right? I mean, he was pretty amazing. I didn't expect that much that quickly and him to look that good this soon. But it is preseason, but still, he looked great.
Oso Ighodaro was so exciting to watch tonight because he was making a lot of the right decisions. And it's one of those questions that we were wondering, knowing kind of what his skill set was upon being drafted, not going to be somebody who can stretch the floor and shoot, but does somebody who has a lot of really good core skills. And we saw that on display. And I love what John Tran says. He goes, Osola Ighodaric. I don't know about the Osola, but if we're talking about like Dario Saric potentially, Ighodaric, like he was, his passing was fucking fantastic in this. He was now granted, one thing that was nice to see was how his teammates were cutting. Yeah, because when he'd get the ball up at the top of the key and he had cutters, he would hit them on bounce passes past defenders for easy layups. And we saw that multiple times. How many assists I say he had finished with? 5. He went for 12 and 5 tonight. And that's because his team was utilizing movement. And that's something we had a challenge with last season overall in our offense, was there just wasn't a lot of movement. There was a lot of stagnation. So to see him and his skill set on display in that capacity is something that's obviously exciting. He clearly had an opportunity to play tonight because there was no Yusuf Nurkic. No Yusuf Nurkic equals Mason Plumlee got the start. Mason Plumlee getting the start means that Oso Ighodaro is going to back him up as the backup 5. But what he displayed today was something that I really think is going to be interesting as time progresses, is does he potentially become the backup to Yusuf Nurkic? And I love it. It's like, preseason game number 1.
Yeah.
We're already like, could he be the backup? And it's like, he's playing a lot against a lot of second, third team guys on the Lakers for the most part. Again, playing 26, 27 minutes. But he looked good in them. He intellectually, basketball IQ wise, he was in the right places. He was going to the right spots. He was getting the rebounds. He was scoring when he needed to. And yes, he even had that little push shot. And I think I clipped from our playback when he made that push shot. Let's play that.
Nice. Ooh, nice fake, Oso. Give it to me. A floater.
Oh, there it is.
Yay! Oso floater. It's oh so nice.
There you go. So there's Oso's floater action.
That was beautiful.
Wasn't it?
Way to celebrate it, because that's the one thing that's probably going to drive us nuts a little bit this year with that push shot. Only because I feel like he did finish strong a few times. Like, he can just throw it down. And you kind of want him to be more aggressive getting to the rim in those areas and not have the push shot. But if he's finishing it half the time going in, then maybe we're okay with it. But I feel like that's going to be one thing that we just can't stand. But tonight didn't drive us crazy because he just did so many things so well. And I think that the passing is great, but just him just knowing where to be, but also just like his mannerisms on the court. Like, he just seems like he has his head on straight, right, on the court. And that's the biggest thing to take away from preseason is, like, how does the body language look? Does he look like he belongs? And he absolutely does. Like, the Lakers starting unit, they look good too. Like it's okay to look good in NBA preseason, right? I think it is. It's fine because, like I said on the playback, like we've had guys come through this team like that look miserable in the playoff and
Jalen Smith,
yeah,
looked lost.
Yeah,
looked lost.
there's a
Tumani
lot of
Kamara.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
Josh Jackson, he was terrible.
Yeah, didn't look like he belonged. But Tumani Kamara, now granted, it was summer league and not with the preseason with the Suns, but he looked like he belonged. And Oso easily looked comfortable and looked like he belonged tonight. And that's a valuable takeaway from this. Again, that's why I say these games don't count, but they do matter. It matters that he looked like he belonged. It does matter that we will be frustrated with that push shot, I guarantee. Was he one for 3 on the push shot tonight, Matthew? Is that what
I saw one miss, but it's just something we're going to have to live with. Like everyone has their kind of Achilles heel, and his is self-inflicted. So
we'll obviously continue to watch Oso Ighodaro throughout this preseason. I got to come up with a drop. I started working on one. I just wasn't working out. I was calling him like the Oso Tornado, but that didn't work because he doesn't spin a bunch. So, well, obviously there's the other rookie.
Doesn't spin much.
Dun 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 dun. So Ryan Dunn this evening, 23 minutes played. He had 9 total points. He had 1 assist, 3 total rebounds, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc, 33.3%. And I'm good with that. That's what we want, right? What I appreciated about Ryan Dunn this evening was he was taking those shots. He took 6 3-pointers tonight, Matthew. And that's important because what have we been talking about when it comes to Ryan Dunn? The defense is what's going to make him valuable, but you have to have some semblance of offensive guardability, accountability. Like the other team has to respect the fact that you can hit some shots to keep you on the court. And so in here, his first opportunity to play against real NBA competition, where he's D'ing up LeBron James, he's actually taking those shots, and I appreciate that. Whether they went in or not, the fact that he took 6 is to me valuable because he's not shying away from the moment, being like, "Oh man, he knows that hey, if I want minutes, I have to show that I can A, shoot the ball and B, I'm willing to shoot the ball," and he did both of those tonight.
Yeah, I like the fact that even Bill Simmons was talking about how almost 400 players can shoot the corner 3 now in the NBA or something crazy like that. Like he's just like half the league can make it. And he's one of those guys right now. So I think in the corner is going to look good if he can just kind of settle down in the corner shooting the threes. That's the spot I feel like we can comfortably count on him for is just make those ones. But the defense was great. I think just 3 fouls, playing 23 minutes. That's great because he is so hands-on. He's very physical, but he doesn't get a lot of calls because he's wrapped around these guys, but he doesn't touch them. And he did a pretty good job on LeBron early on. LeBron schooled him once. But he made it pretty difficult. He stayed on him. He's on guys like glue, full court. It's going to be one of those things where it's like that's going to be his thing. Is like every game he's going to be playing full court. He's going to be sitting in the corner for threes. He's not making bad mistakes. He looks like he fits in. Oso just kind of shouted him because we didn't really know what to expect from Oso too. But we know what we're going to get from Ryan Dunn. Like you said, it's a question of the threes. He kind of answered that tonight, and I love that they're doing the 40%. Hopefully they're shooting 40% of their shots from 3. You do have an article coming out tomorrow, correct? On that, you're going to be tracking it?
No, that article came out last week, but we could talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were doing that weekly where you're tracking it.
I am, but this is the preseason. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to start right now. But that's a big
1.
thing, too, because with a rookie, it's like, should I shoot threes? He's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to take them. And that's exactly what we need him to do. And, Okogie hits them tonight, too. So that's always going to be the big battle between those two in minutes. And if Okogie can make them, there's going to be a little bit more competition than we thought.
No, 100%. And yes, him shooting threes is valuable. His defense, I didn't mention it in his stat line, but he did have the 1 steal and the 1 possession that he really made it tough on LeBron. LeBron ended up scoring, but it's because Dunn was screened off of him. Yeah. And in this game, with the Suns up 116 to 114, and the Lakers with the ball, it was it was Ryan Dunn who was tasked with guarding the guy who got the ball on the inbound. I think it was Dalton Connect, their rookie, and like glue, forced him to take a tough shot. Ended up being 26.4 footer from Dalton Connect, and he missed it. And, fast break dunk, 0.5 seconds left. Ryan Dunn gets a dunk to kind of put the exclamation point to put the Suns up 118 to 114. But it shows you, even in that moment, knowing that there's third-team guys out there, second-team guys, he's willing to step up into the moment. And that's what I gained from Ryan Dunn tonight, was and both rookies, in all honesty, was that bout of confidence and that comfortability that they belong on the court.
I love the seriousness they play with too. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like they're
Mature.
so focused out there, very, very mature. Just like the rookies we had before with Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson, like, they had a goofiness about them and stuff too. But like these guys are like just kind of different. They're like those guys, but in just a different realm. And like I just feel like they're just out there really taking on just any kind of pressure, and I feel like they can handle it.
Fun fact, Dak Prescott just threw another pick.
Get the fuck. So I saw something about CeeDee Lamb mouthed something to him about being subpar or something like down the sideline. Did you see that on Twitter?
No.
Oh boy. Well, they're winning, right? 13-10. Yeah,
but they just threw a pick.
Keep throwing the picks. I feel bad for Dak. No, I don't.
Hey, Joe. Where you going with that gun of yours?
All right, team leader relative to points tonight, Josh Okogie. 16 minutes played, 6 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. That's pretty big. Had 5 rebounds, had 2 assists, had 3 steals. It's almost like him and Ryan Dunn are kind of breathing down each other's necks and trying to, because they're fighting for potentially what could be similar minutes. What'd you see from Josh Okogie tonight, Matthew?
Well, he held his own. I think there's a lot of pressure on the guy this year. Like everyone just kind of forgets how good he was finishing around the rim. He did that tonight. Drawing fouls, he did that a few times tonight. So 2 years ago, he was doing those things. Last year, he just kind of missed out on that, and he wasn't the same guy from a year before. He definitely is a guy that can finish around the rim. We saw that, but also the 3-point thing is a big thing. So it looked like the way he was dropping threes, he hit one that was like Steph Curry, I feel like, distance. It was like 30 plus feet from out there where he just drilled it, right? It was like a high screen, came off of it and just nailed the three. So he looks a lot more comfortable there because he knows like he has to be hitting those threes to make it, to get minutes. So I'm just interested to see how the season progresses and how it starts, if he is actually going to get those minutes ahead of Ryan Dunn to start. But as a preseason game showed, Ryan Dunn's going to get those ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
But good for Okogie. There's a lot. I feel like out of all these players, he has a lot of pressure on him this year to really prove himself. So it was a good first game in the preseason.
Yeah, and again, he got that offseason contract, 2 years, was it $16 million? And he's got to kind of live up to that for a couple different reasons. One, he's being paid that amount of money. I believe it's 8.5 this year, 7.5 next year. But two, if you want to continue your career, you're going to have to play well. And the Suns are looking at that contract, and I know I'm looking at that contract as something that's potentially a trade piece if need be when the time comes. So every time we see J.O. play well, like, keep that in the back of your mind. One, he's benefiting the team, and two, he could benefit the team long term if we need to fill out other aspects of the roster because somebody like Ryan Dunn is playing well. Yeah. And to see him come out and play the way he did with that give a shit, I mean, he changed the game. He changed the game. There was a point late in the fourth quarter where the Suns were, I believe, down a couple baskets after letting a Laker run occur. And on an inbound pass, he was acting all nonchalant. Inbound pass, stole the ball, and then he hit another three. And it was just like, okay, Josh Okogie kind of took over that game at the back end. So obviously it's the preseason, and these guys are fighting for those ancillary minutes that are going to occur as the season progresses. But you want to see positive results, and that's what we got from him. And, again, 2 from 3 from beyond the arc. And that kind of talks about what you were mentioning a little bit earlier, and something that I'm really high on this year and something I'm monitoring. It's what percentage of shots that the Phoenix Suns take are from beyond the arc. Because for the last few seasons with Monty Williams and Frank Vogel last year, we were a team that was underneath the league average when it comes to that specific statistic. And I know it's not, like, you have to conceptualize. It's like, okay, if you take 100 shots, 40 of them should be threes. We need volume when it comes to threes. Yeah. And we know that last year, again, 5th best team shooting from beyond the arc, but 25th most attempts. So that's something that I was looking for when it came to this game, because we want to see how Bud's system comes into play. The team tonight shot 41%. 41% of their shots were from deep. So even in their first game, they're letting them fly a little bit more from beyond the arc. Devin Booker, 3 of 6 from deep. I love seeing that. Kevin Durant was 0 of 3. Bradley Beal was 1 of 3. And then there's one of the newest members of the Phoenix Suns, Tyus Jones, was 3 of 3.
Sha la 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 la. Mr. Jones and me.
9 points for Tyus Jones in 19 minutes played, 3 of 4 from the field, all 3 of those coming via the super shot. Had 6 assists as well, 1 steal, 1 turnover. So 6-1 on his assist to turnover ratio. How did it feel watching Tyus Jones play basketball for the Phoenix Suns tonight, Matthew?
Well, he fit in really well. If he's taking over and not going to be as ball dominant, that's going to be nice, because you kind of want to make sure, of course, the big three, you touch the ball a lot. So you kind of want to see how that worked out. And I feel like in this game, like, he just felt like part of the team already, right? I feel like he was off ball most times, ready for the 3 in the corner. So he can do different things out there. And that was the biggest thing. And he has that floater too that he works on too. So he has a mid-range with 3, moving the ball around for the big 3. But those 6 assists, I feel like, are just kind of like, they were quiet, right? I feel like he's going to be that guy where it's just kind of like, oh, he has 12 assists at halftime. Or he's like, oh, he has 12 assists at the end of the three quarters. Like, that might just be who he is. And that's exactly what we want, with a little turnovers here or there. That's fine. But he's really meshed well, I feel like, in just the first game already with the Suns.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It was weird how he wasn't initiating the offense as much as I think we expected him to at the beginning of the game. But I'm okay with that, because ultimately the ball did find his hands and he did find open shooters and they connected. There was a great play he had for an alley-oop to Oso Ighodaro at one point. I think it was the second quarter. And it's just a preview of things to come. It's a cerebral player. And again, that's this, I think, the second time I've used that. I don't know if I used that word twice all last year, talking about cerebral play. And that's what Chris Paul used to bring. And that's what Tyus Jones has. And Oso Ighodaro has as a young rookie, is already thinking in that mindset and being in the right places. And they're going to make errors, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see Tyus Jones out there having fun, fitting in, as you mentioned. There's the other point guard who was playing. That's Monte Morris.
Oh, hey, Monte, I'm really got your money, don't you worry. I said, hey.
Monte Morris, 13 minutes played, 4 total points, had 3 assists, had 0 turnovers. So you look at them combined, that's 9 assists and 1 turnover between our starting and our backup point guard. And it's clear that Monte Morris is going to be the backup point guard based on rotations, and that's initially what we saw. And I'll tell you, you know what the weirdest thing about watching Monte Morris was for me, Matthew? He wears number 23, and that's obviously what Eric Gordon wore last year. So as I was watching the game, I'm like, oh, man, Eric Gordon's oh, yeah, he's gone. It's like he moves just he has a handle. He's not a bowling ball. He's not shooting the ball at half court. He's initiating offense. He's quick handles. It was just, from a rotational standpoint, he's going to be a solid backup for the reasons we knew coming into this. Both he and Tyus Jones have some of the highest overall in the history of the NBA assist to turnover ratio. They don't turn the ball over. They take care of it. You don't run out of possessions. And that was nice to see.
Yeah, it was. There's nothing too crazy today, but I really love the way this bench unit looks and where it's heading. I think that he just needs more time with them, but he's just like the extra thing they have off the bench to move the ball around. So it's exciting, because I was like going down like this roster. It's like, who do you like not trust shooting the 3, right? I feel like Bol Bol didn't shoot a 3, but I still trust him. But like everyone else, I'm like, I mean, if we're having Ryan Dunn knock down 3s, and then
Okogie.
Okogie looked really good. I feel like Okogie might be a real thing. Ryan Dunn, we just don't know yet, but Okogie might have improved. If that's a thing, like, who do you not trust? Even if Nurt comes back and he's shooting 3s too, Oso, obviously, we don't know yet, but there's guys out there that I'm just like, yeah, let it fly. Like, I trust all of them right now shooting that 3.
I do too. And what was the total percentage on the night? So 41%. So they shot, and that is such a sweet spot. You have to understand that, Suns fans. If you can shoot 40% or more of your total shots as threes, and you make 40 or more percent, that is like, you should win every one of those fucking games. And I mean, I know they only won by 4 tonight, but that is such a great number. It's something we talked about on our super duper megapod with all the other Suns content creators. But if you look at teams to shoot over 40% percentage wise, not percent of total shots, percentage wise, all time, there's only 6 teams that have ever done it for an entire season. So it's an extremely rare thing. The Suns have the potential to do something special because of the level of talent, because of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, who are all, well, maybe not necessarily Booker, but Beal and Durant, they're amazing three-point shooters. You have Grayson Allen coming off the bench. Tyus Jones definitely looked capable. So there's a lot of opportunity to really spread the floor and offensively create havoc. Defensive. So what are your thoughts on this team defensively? Because we know the first team unit didn't play that well against LeBron and Anthony Davis. Are there any concerns there?
No, I think that it's more exciting this year because we have a Grayson Allen's beefed up. I want him to use those guns. I don't know if he's like ready to use them yet on those screens, kind of like nudge people over, like go through them hard, kind of knock some guys over. I want to see that. But right now you have Ryan Dunn. That's a plus. There's not really any minuses. They're a little bit older, right? But Devin Booker is actually going to be improved. When these games matter, I'm sure he's going to be out there playing a little bit more aggressive. But it's not really the defense right now that really bothers me. I think that's going to come together once this team gels more. Offensively is where I'm really looking at this team, where how comfortable are they shooting the threes? How comfortable are they with everybody? So they look so comfortable on the offensive end tonight, where I think that's going to kind of just bleed into the defense. And, if things are going well offensively, defensively, they're not going to be frustrated. They're going to be playing hard. They have younger guys on the team now, too. They're going to be playing hard, like Oso and Ryan Dunn. So it's there. Even Damion Lee looked good out there, man, rebounding the ball, playing some good defense. So I'm not really worried about it. I think that the rebounding is going to be the biggest thing, but there's a lot of help rebounds out there. Josh Okogie was doing a good job boxing out. Oso was doing a good job boxing out. And then you had even, like I just said, Damion Lee boxing out. So those guys are definitely helping out on that factor on the floor. That's going to be the biggest issue they have this year, I feel like, with the defensive rebounds. But right now, I think after today, I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah, I agree with you. Defensively, I think that because of their roster configuration, they're going to have the ability to bring in somebody like a Ryan Dunn and for periods of a time just be very pesky. And I think that's a good word for what they're going to be on defense, is a pesky defense. They're not going to be a lockdown defense. And that will be something that will frustrate us throughout this season, is that they're not locking up opposing teams. And when you have a team that's going to shoot the volume of threes that we hope they do, they're going to be susceptible to runs. And that's what happened in the first half, is they weren't knocking down the three ball as much as we would have liked them to do. 28% they shot in the first half. And because of that, again, they had a 12-point deficit going into the half. And it's because you're killing your possessions, you're taking the long ball. And if you're not, to your point, Matthew, if you're not generating those rebounds, you're going to have issues. There was some good help rebounding, and it's going to be something that they're going to have to focus on this entire season, is attacking the glass and trying not to get out and run all the time. In that first half, they were out rebounded 22-29. You look at the second half, they out rebound the Lakers 28-20. They outshoot the Lakers 39% from deep to 27%. They win the game by 4. And that's how that, from a math standpoint, that's how that works out. There's a couple other performances I want to get to. Collin Gillespie, who I don't have a drop for because I don't know if I need one, but I like this kid, man.
Yeah.
Over from Denver, 10 minutes played, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. He had 10 total points, was a plus 13, had 1 assist, 1 rebound. Kind of looks like he could be one of the Jersey boys, right? He's got this like Italian look almost to him. Like you could see him in the 50s with the leather jacket on and some jeans with the rolled up, cuffed ends, maybe a pack of Marlboro Reds, and he's just like, hey, fucking forget about him. Oh, I'm calling Gillespie here, man. Fucking here's the ball. Take it. I don't know. I like he had some grit to him tonight. Maybe a little ball hoggy, but he had some grit to him tonight, and I think it was very key in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, maybe a different type of smoke break, not the Dario Saric smoke break, but a smoke break where you might get shanked. One of those things, or I don't know.
Shank break.
yeah. We can.
Yeah, like Dario used to hang out like outside of Circle K smoking.
Yeah,
Like this guy's in like a back alley, like
back alley. Yeah,
you
a lot
know,
of fog, a lot of mischief.
or he's
a
out
lot
of
of dumpsters,
yeah, a lot of dumpsters, like you don't
a
know if
lot of cats.
yeah, alley cats. He's an alley cat. I don't know.
There's a different feel though with these guys. I don't know. So I'm trying to remember like last preseason. There wasn't too much to be excited about last preseason, but there's just a feel to this guy. We're not saying like he's gonna get a lot of minutes, obviously, but there's good minutes he played. Like those were pretty solid minutes. There's a few mistakes here or there, but he was doing a good job moving the rock. But of course, LeBronny James was on him. LeBronny James was on him a few times. He was cooking him a few times here and there, run off screens, setting up the opposing, whether it was Oso Ighodaro or someone else, but he was really finding other guys out there, and it made me pretty impressed. Like what I always think about is like when they show these guys, I mean, in their first game, and we go back maybe at the end of the year and we'll look at highlights. It's like, I wonder if we're going to be looking at these highlights like 5 years from now when he's like an all-star. Like, do you ever think that with these players? Like, it's just like
with Oso Ighodaro or Ryan Dunn potentially.
No, I'm just saying, like, what if, like, I don't know, he's obviously this is his first year, but going into maybe another team or something, it's like, oh damn, we let that guy go. Remember how good he was in preseason?
Yeah, Tamana Kamara.
Yeah, I know. I always think about that. I thought about that with this guy. I'm like, I can see his highlights in like 5 years. Be like, oh yeah, he was on the Suns. I forgot we fucking had him in the preseason.
Well, I liked what I saw from him. Again, all of his points came in that fourth quarter, which we did outscore the Lakers 33-22. So he definitely played a piece in that. So that's going to leave a good taste in people's minds. One of the other rookies, Jalen Bridges. I see AJ in the chat says, no Jalen Bridges? No, Jalen Bridges? Question mark. Flat shot tonight. We talked about all these things about comfortability and fitting in, and it looked like Jalen Bridges was just pressing it a little bit tonight. 6 total minutes played. He was 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc. Did have a personal foul, did have a turnover, did have a block shot. Was a +5, but he's definitely somebody who, if you were going to ask me who impressed, who didn't impress, Jalen Bridges didn't impress in this game. And that's okay. But he didn't impress.
No, it's fine, but he has a lot of pressure too, with everyone kind of just being so solid out there. Like, that's a lot of pressure for him to come in. A guy that's diamond in the rough. Well, that's kind of what's been going on.
Ty Washington's the diamond.
Ty, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so that's not him. Anyways, move on.
Get your fucking diamonds right. He's more of like he's not a diamond in the rough. He's like a ruby in the yard.
Oh, that's what. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Another guy I want to talk about. Gosh, there's just so much I want to talk about. It's been so long since we've done this.
Today I met this cat. He said his name was Damion. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
Damion Lee coming back looked great, in my opinion. 10 minutes played, 10 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Had a rebound, had an assist. I loved what I saw from Damion Lee. That quick twitch 3-point shot, you forget about it. Because I feel like the last 2 months we saw him play, which was over a year ago, he was being run off the 3-point line. As somebody who was leading the league in 3-point shooting, opposing defenses understood the best defense on him is blitz him and get him off that line. Don't let him take that quick shot. And he would have to put the ball on the floor. And this was also at a time when all of our wing depth had been depleted after we traded for Kevin Durant, and Damion Lee started pressing. And that's our last memory of Damion Lee. That's the last taste we have in our mouth. And to see him come out tonight, knowing everything that he's been through, both physically and mentally, to get back out there on the court, and you just see that quick, sweet, beautiful shot go in. I've been really high on Damion Lee this offseason. I've written a couple articles about him on Bright Side of the Sun, about how effective I think he's going to be, and the role that he's going to fill is something that's going to be needed on this team. And as you mentioned, as we talk about confidence in 3-point shooters, our second team unit's going to have 2 guys who led the league in 3-point shooting over the last couple of years. And Damion Lee coming back looked absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah, flawless. I think that shot, like you said, it was just something that was just so crisp and solid. Like, he was letting those things go instantly. Always just had his feet set. and it just sunk right in. Like as soon as he released it, you knew that thing was going to go in. Like
Yep.
to see him look that good this quickly, like he looked so comfortable out there, especially like I said, grabbing boards, pushing the pace a few times. Like he was doing other things out there, but that shot is just so nice to rely on that, to have a guy that's going to be really hot coming off the bench. Like who's the last guy we had to do that? Like just to come in and just light it up. Like
It was supposed to be Eric Gordon, but it wasn't.
yeah,
And the
but like,
last guy before that was Damion Lee
yeah,
2 years
so
ago.
here we go. So we actually have that guy now. So that's very exciting to look forward to.
It's again something as the season progresses, the preseason progresses, and opening night, seeing the comfortability of Damion Lee is going to be very, very big. Let's talk about your guy.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker.
All right, Matthew, there's two guys who came into the game and didn't score.
Mhm.
Jalen Bridges and Bol Bol.
Yeah.
Bol Bol didn't even attempt a shot. All right. Played 12 minutes, 46 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even attempt a shot.
No.
He had 6 rebounds, though. And he did have an assist. But he didn't attempt a shot. How does that make you feel, Matthew?
Well, it makes me feel like this team kind of has it together. There was that feeling of last year, you know, when he was just going off and, you know, the plus minus looked really good with him on the court when he was with Nurk. Not attempting a shot tonight, that does kind of suck, but he's just kind of filling a role, I feel like right now, of just kind of grabbing the boards, but also look kind of confused on the offensive end. So it's going to take him some time. But last year, like, I feel like he just couldn't win with him, but it looks so good, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's just with him, like, playing out of place and, like, just really not getting lucky, but he is efficient. But it's just like you can't win with that, right? You can't continue to actually build leads with it. I feel like it always looks so good, but it just never led to wins. So I feel like if he is just like that guy, the extra dude to come in, grab boards and stuff like that, it's fine. But it just tonight, what I saw, not so pleasing. I'm not giving up on the dude, but it's just kind of like, well, maybe we have other pieces now that make more sense basketball wise to throw in there. At least tonight we did. So he's going to be definitely overlooked a few games this year. I'm pretty sure.
You know, everyone who plays on this team, at least from what I saw tonight, I feel like I have a good understanding of what their role is on this team. And I feel like they have a good understanding of what their role is.
Yeah.
Bol Bol is going to be a work in progress. And I'm not saying that he can't get to the point where we know exactly who he is when he's coming in here. But even Mike Budenholzer on Suns Media Day talked about how he's excited to kind of see what he can do with Bol. Bol is just such a unique player, the way he's built, what he can bring offensively, defensively.
Yep.
There was one possession that I did write down in my notes where he just looked lazy on the weak side of a defender. I think Monte Morris was guarding somebody, let the guy slip by him. If Bol had just attacked, there was no outlet for the guy. It would have been an easy turnover. Instead, Bol just kind of stood there flat footed and watched the guy, probably from 10 feet away, lay it in. So not a lot of L's tonight. Bol's an L, and he's got 2 of them in his name to begin with. So again, preseason, not the end of the world. If you lose this game, you're not talking about it. If you win this game, we talk about it a little bit, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it will be interesting to see moving forward what his role is going to be. Is he going to be a stretch backup 5? Is he a KD replacement at times? Is he there just for home games to make us fans cheer? We don't really know. Time will tell.
Can he release it though? Do you think like he can come in, like he's gonna have a little bit of like not as much time this year to kind of get going, because I feel like we had the minutes to spare last year, but now it's just like, can he get it going? Can he release it early enough in his minutes to really keep him on the floor? You know what I mean? Because I think that's his biggest problem, just kind of holding things back and just not unreleasing everything that he has. And it drives me crazy because I know it's there. It's not like a DeAndre thing, but there's stuff there. So if he can play more confidently within the first minute of him being on the floor, then he'll definitely see some minutes.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do as a backup is to come in and have the juice. Mm-hmm. And he's somebody who definitely has to have the juice. Hit a 3-pointer, go grab a rebound, make a block, get yourself ingrained in the game. And it's a tough thing to do. And I think that he can do it, and it'll be interesting to just see how often it happens and how much opportunity he gets to do so.
Yeah. Cowboys score.
No, Dak's down on like the 1 yard line. There's under a minute left in the game.
Oh,
He's
they're down by
diving.
4.
Minka Fitzpatrick. He almost fumbled it. All right.
Gosh.
I know it's only preseason.
Here we go, basketball.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Where is she? Where's she been all summer long? Did you know that the Joker sequel is a musical?
Yeah, I did know that.
I
was
didn't.
never gonna go see
I'm
it.
so glad I'm not going to see it.
Oh, I
I
thought you
hate-
went to go see it.
No. I'll tell you this. I love musicals. Singing in the Rain is one of the greatest movies ever made.
I just saw that. Yeah.
But Les Miserables can suck my bat dick because they sing the whole fucking movie. And I don't want that. I need some substance in my movies.
So for those of you who are new to the program, one thing that we like to do is hang out on the opposing team's subreddit during a game just to see what they're saying. And that's what we did tonight. Oh, let's do this. Boop. That's what we did tonight as we normally do. Oh. And so I was on the subreddit for the Los Angeles Lakers to hear what they were saying. I'll tell you this. They didn't have much to say about the Suns because they're in preseason mode as well. They're analyzing what they have. They've got a couple rookies. They got Dalton Connect and they got Bronny James. They're making observations on that. They got a new coach in JJ Redick. So let's see what they were saying on their subreddit.
At least we aren't the Wizards. Darvin Ham is a terrorist.
Jeez.
D'Lo getting fried per usual while he's on Booker. The Jameses, 5 turnovers, like father, like son.
That's gonna be used a lot.
Oh, so's this one.
God.
God. Sorry.
God, I'm so attracted to JJ.
Aren't we all?
Oh,
How could you not? Be, dude?
Fumble.
I was just looking at fumble.
All right.
Fumble down.
Amazes me how Hayes hasn't hit the weight room once in his 6-year career.
And then literally the only thing that they had about anybody on the Phoenix Suns,
Bol Bol looks like he's wearing mini shorts.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
bloop.
Kind of look like a mini skirt at times, doesn't it? It looks like it's connected down there.
It looked like a skort.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Anything else you had in your notes that you want to talk about, Matthew?
Well, I didn't take many notes.
Notes.
No, I'm good,
Uh-oh.
man.
Well, then let's hand out some hardware.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jam Star of the Game time. This is a reminder to everybody watching. Please subscribe,
Please.
rate, review. Help us help you. Support the show any way you can. And let us know in the chat who your Jam Star of the Game is. That's it's interesting in this one to see who everybody's Jam Star is.
Yeah.
Matthew, I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of good characters out there today. I'm gonna go Oso.
Oso
It's
Ighodaro.
tough. Yeah. Between him and Josh Okogie, but I'm gonna choose Oso.
All right, I'm gonna write that in.
I'm gonna choose Dak Prescott. 4th and goal.
Timeout. I'm gonna go with Damion Lee.
Okay.
I loved what I saw from Damion Lee at a crucial point in the game. He was big, led the team in plus minus. I think with 13, he was a plus 13. So that's who I'm gonna dish out my initial
I like that.
Jam Star of the game.
I like that.
Let's see. We got Sad or Sade says Oso. AJ gives it to Oso. Kiko gives it to Jo. Los Suns gives it to Josh, but Lee for coming back from an injury.
Yes.
Seth gives it to undrafted Gillespie. Don't know who he was, but now I do. So
Love that.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
one thing, obviously, we didn't talk about very much, but we can talk about it briefly. Bronny James, thoughts?
It was interesting. I think his first stint was a little too early. We did talk about that. Maybe he should just play in the second half. But it's not like it was a regular season. Like, I think the Lakers fans there obviously wanted to see Bronny. And when he first came out, it was pretty exciting for the fans with LeBron James on the court.
Yep.
But he just didn't really belong offensively. He just kind of looked lost, and then defensively too. So the first time out, he's just like, I don't know what's going on out here. But I love how he didn't make his first shot. It didn't count, but the Lakers fans are going crazy when he hit that three-pointer. Or was it a two? I think it was a two.
It was a long two.
It was a long two. Hit that one. The fans are going nuts, but it didn't count, and they started booing. So that was nice to see. And he's a Laker, so we can hate him right now.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? I love the story, but hate him right now.
Great story. 0 of 1 from the field, negative 16 on the floor. That's all I got to say. I like what Brian says in the chat. He goes, no thoughts on Bronny James. Wish him well. So who cares as a Suns fans? Amen. Yeah. Next game for the Phoenix Suns is Tuesday. We play touchdown. Tuesday, we play the Detroit Pistons at East Lansing, Michigan, where Matt Ishbia went to college. So that game's at 4:00. So we'll be coming to you live right after that. Again, the original post-game podcast on Planet Purple is back. That's all I got, Matthew. Let's get out of here.
That's all I got. Go and love your family. Go Cowboys.